Hey guys, this is Joe Bennett. I'm gonna go over some lines right now. Really just two quick ones. And I've been studying this for about an hour and a half. See if I can condense it all into an essence that's only a couple minutes long. Just so some of the knowledge starts getting out there. This is called, I call it the delayed Dutch. It's also called Clarenden Court. It happens after d4, c5, then they push, and then f5. That's why I call it the delayed Dutch. The Benograd, like the Benoni and the Leningrad, is called that too. So Clarendon Court, Benoni, Leningrad, delayed Dutch. In a similar line, I just beat this dude who was 200 points higher than me with the black pieces 4 days ago, so that was really awesome. That's another video, G3. That's not what he played, but I'm gonna go over like what we did. But G3, that's a whole nother branch on this tree, and I've had really good games. They're really beautiful games there. Actually, in all honesty, 1 week ago, 2300, 2400 beat me with white in this line with G3. I made a mistake though, and I learned my lesson. I'm not ready to make a video on that because I haven't had too many great wins yet. I had some still understanding it more and building up that system of knowledge. So anyway, today we're going to look at this E3 move. And that's a pretty good one because they're just playing simple chess. And I think a lot of people would actually play this move in a game because they're trying to hold an advantage for white, a really slight edge, an edge advantage. And to be honest, the stuff that I'm going over here today, it's kind of crazy. It suits my style. I like complicated positions. If you don't like complicated positions, don't play. I'll tell you where to stop playing what I'm doing. But I like complicated positions, and I love attacking, and I like to sacrifice too. So that's kind of just who I am. I'll show you when that starts happening. Not yet, though. This is all sensible, relatively sensible as a Dutch can be. B, knight B, A6, and I'm just going with A2, A3 for these videos because even like high-rated players always play this. They're afraid of the knight coming in, even though I wouldn't even play that because the bishop goes back to B1 and then you can get a tempo. But there's other reasons why they don't want the knight coming in later. But usually people principally play A3, and then I just do this maneuver, knight B to A6, and then knight A to C7, and it covers the weak square on E6 right here, and also supports B5, the pawn push. It's just a good maneuver for this opening. It is a coordination of pieces and pawns, really. A1, B1. That's a good move. This is just kind of like if they castle and then they castle, then A1, B1. That's the line I'm going for right now because if they don't kind of cover that stuff, then I would be moving my rook from the A file to the B file and playing B5. That's the plan here because then you get a geometrical coordination with the bishop and rook on B2. Yet since they already moved their rook, it's not wise to move your rook right over to challenge it, creating an imbalance here. So this is why this starts getting crazy here. More sensible players might do other stuff. Yet, as I elucidated before, I'm looking for some complications, especially in this opening. I mean, I'm sensible too. I'm I'm always up for grinding to an endgame, yada yada yada, grubbing a pawn, all that. But I also really love complications and sacrifices when you actually know what's going on. Yet for computers, they got a slight edge here for white. I'm not even gonna lie, they have an edge advantage, an advantage. Yet black has a lot of game. So this is the pawn sack b5, and the first branch of this system is if the knight takes. The second branch is if the pawn takes here. So that's the two systems. Yeah. See, the pawn can take like that, which is good for white, but I'm still playing against it, and or the knight can take. If the knight takes, then you trade knights, and then the pawn takes, and then you use this square that the pawn vacated for the bishop to come out here, and now you got the knight and the bishop, seeing if you can gain the center pawn for the flank pawn you traded, and they already have weak pawns, and a3 looks like a meaningless move. So he defends the pawn. This is a computer line. It's not anybody's real game. I'm already past my real game. I won that because they made a mistake, and I actually early pawn stormed g6, g5, and then I played f4, f3, and then they had a weak back rank. They had to move their rook up to not get checkmated on h2, like I don't know why I'm explaining this. And then and since the rook was off the back file, my two pawns were here on f3 and g2. So the f3 pawn was guarding the g2 pawn, and then I created a triple battery, my rook, queen, and my other rook, and just back ranked him essentially, and promoted a pawn and checkmated him. So anyways, in this line we got the bishop coming out after the pawn sack on b5, and then this is just like some theory I'm developing. It says it's a little better for white, but it gets very complicated. So they had to move the bishop again. So, there we go. And then this is where things get really complicated. e6, that's attacking the pawn again. So we got 1 with the bishop, 2 with the e6 pawn, and 3 with the knight, attacking the pawn on d5, which is defended once and twice with the bishop and queen. So they must do something about that. Ergo, they capture on e6, and then we get the pawn push to the center, a d5, and get a tempo on the bishop. And then makes most sense to go back to d2 to e2, and then this is an example line, like the knight goes here because if they move their b pawn, then the knight gets a fork on c3 square, and then there we go, and then there we go. This is just an example line, but it's kind of funny. Push again, and then back. I mean, just take this with a grain of salt, I guess. And collect a pawn. Knight comes here. The computer right now just says bishop takes knight, because we don't want them to get a big knight there. There could be better. Who knows? It depends who you're playing, what you want to do. And then they just got the pawn. After the bishop trade, the pawn comes up again, the f pawn. I really like that. And that's kind of where I just stopped. It's an edge advantage for white, small edge advantage, even though I'm a proponent of this for the black side. It's a difficult position for a U-mid to claim, because we honestly got a pass pawn here too, and it can be supported by a rook easily. We have a huge knight on e4, and then just these pawns and these rooks are coordinating. Yeah, with perfect play, who really can say who will win the day? So that's one branch. The other branch, again, after b5, that sacrifice, clearing space for the bishop. See, boom, castle, castle, and then the sacrifice. And then, so if we just went over if knight takes, so more pieces on the board, hooray, more complications. Bishop comes out attacking the pawn again, and then the bishop defends, and then We do the same thing with e6, d5, d5. Stop analyzing, d5. Did my computer freeze? e7, e6, d5, e6, d6, d5. So then we push again. I think my computer froze. But anyways, I'll just follow this, d5. Yeah, this computer's freezing. Just so I get this online so I can have it on the video. I mean, we got the pawn push, and then them going back to d3, and then f6, d4. So the knight's still coming in, and that's actually threatening to win a pawn on c3. So then we play c3, e2, and then I'm recapturing the e6 pawn with my knight, which is good. So that's why the other line's a little bit better with them trading the c3 knight, and now they actually have to move it with a tempo, and then I get to capture with that knight. And it gets complicated, and I pawn stormed and stuff, but that's this one. The other, let me see if Stockfish lets me refresh this. Just in 1 minute. The other thing about this, what I'm looking to study a little bit more and really get more clarity about this e3 line is we just looked at all this stuff with bishop d3, putting another one on the e4 square and supporting that break. If they go bishop e2, it might be slightly more sensible to retain an edge, yet they're not supporting a potential e4 break for later. And then, you know, castle, and then, see, even the computer says knight b to a6. So it's the same sort of stuff. Be creative. We still got to bind on e4 and potential breaks and sacrifices and pawn storms. So there you go for the delayed Dutch. Another update. Thank you so much for watching. You know, and see if you can play this, because there's an opening. It's like really a dark horse. A dark horse means a surprise weapon that no one was expecting. And really, this is the dark horse of chess openings. I don't know of any other that's more suitable for that title. If anybody does, please let me know about it so I may learn too. Signing off. Please enjoy this beautiful game of chess. Bye.